Good morning, good morning, good morning. Welcome to another edition of Voices here on winnfm 98.9. I thank you for joining us and hoping that we're going to have a very good show today. And it's an open topic. I have some topics I would like to discuss, of course, but we're here to serve you, to satisfy you. And we have our first caller on the line. Let us go to this caller and say good morning, caller. Oh, we lost that caller. I guess I was a little too slow. But a lot of things happening all over. There's never a day without activity, and we have all kind of things happening. Well, we know about the SSZ, and that continues to be a contentious issue. And if and when and how it will be solved, I haven't a clue really. But we'll have to wait and see. The Prime Minister, Drew, receives full state honors in Ghana. He signs MOU, Memorandum of Understanding with Ghana. These are topics we have here to discuss. And we also have the Iraq issues. Iranian missiles intercepted over Turkey, and UAE as $100 a barrel. We have another caller here. Good morning, caller. Welcome to Voices. You're live and lively.
Troy.
Yes, sir.
I heard you loud and clear.
Okay. Thank you very much, sir.
As you alluded to what Island Tea should be. Now, just let me say quickly, because I opened Island Tea as the first caller, and I want to, with your permission, I would like you to permit me to just say something pertaining to what Gregory responded. Now, follow me on this, Troy.
Please don't stay too long, caller.
I'll try not to.
I appreciate it, thanks.
Gregory said that we all existed in the womb. Now, if you go to Genesis 1, Adam existed in the womb?
From what I understand, no, he wasn't.
Okay. Now, if you go to Genesis 1 from verse 25, I think it says that God created male and female in his image and likeness and blessed them. Now, it didn't elaborate as to how God created male and female. Genesis 2 says that Lord God created Adam from the dust and breathed the breath of life into Adam. Now, as to what Gregory said about we all existed in the womb. Well, what Genesis 1 said, the Spirit descended upon the face of the deep. Descended from where? The universe is a womb, Troy. The earth is a womb. Biology, when male and female climax together to germinate or to create seed life, sperms travel within to get into the womb of the woman to create life. You plant a seed in the earth, Troy. It takes 9 days to germinate. Everything begins within the womb. The universe is a womb, and there's where spirit came from. But the writers gave us one deity, descend. When you and your wife, Troy, your girlfriend, whatever you have, and you decide to create life, when sperms go through biology, I'm talking about biology in the physical body, millions of sperms are trying to enter a ferocious environment to enter the sperm. Into the womb, sorry. And that's the same as spirit descending from the universe. The sky is a mirror, Troy, and the universe is a womb. Everything came from a womb. The woman. The woman is a portal, the gateway through life. So you see, when these people polluted what was sacred and holy and tell us, well, Genesis 1, God created male and female, and they didn't tell us how. But then Genesis 2 tell me that God just to go back to what Gregory said, we all existed in the womb. But we were all spirit before we became flesh. Spirit come to flesh through birth. Spirit goes back to the spiritual realm through death. But spirit doesn't die because you cannot kill energy or consciousness. But Troy, now, we are in Voices, and you let me know when. I want to talk quickly about, our Prime Minister went over to Ghana. Now, last year he visited Nigeria, and Troy, Journey been saying all along that everything that we are encountering today, in ancient days, in Bible days, it is skewed against us, the black African man, woman, and child. No, we have genetic modified food that are coming into our stores. The Prime Minister went to Nigeria last year. There's no culture outside of agriculture, Troy. Are we feeding ourselves? Do you know that certain philanthropists are trying to sanction organic food within the continent of Africa? They're telling local farmers, if you plant anything outside of genetic modified organism, they're going to take you to courts in Africa.
But why are
I don't have to call the names of some of these. Are you familiar with Seedco and Monsanto?
No, I'm not. But why would they want to sanction the organic planting?
Because let me paraphrase something that I came across, and I'm going to use the word alleged that it said, okay, with AI and all of that. It's alleged that Bill Gates has said that Europeans can afford organic, but Africans cannot. So they have to give them genetic modified organisms. This is the things that we face because it is to eliminate us, Do you know food has been weaponized today? Food has been weaponized today, because we are not feeding ourselves. And my thing is, if the Prime Minister is making connection with the continent, where are they taking agriculture? The continent had vast amount of variety of organic food. We can be eating herb for meat with the amount of variety of food that is on the continent. Here we are eating flesh. We are eating genetic modified organisms that are imported, I went to the market Saturday. I could hardly find a ripe papaya, a fruit. I can't find Mansiport, maca, locust. Where are these things?
Yes, a Mansiport caller. I haven't seen Mansiport for like 3 lifetimes now. A Mammy apple.
But you see,
and these things used to knock down when I was growing up.
No, let us hope when the Prime Minister come back, he has some good news for us. Because we need a gateway, We need a gateway from the diaspora to the continent without having to go through the Babylon system, We need it, but they don't want us to have this, They don't want us to connect. Because everything is skewed against us, We are life and they are of death. Make no mistake about it, however you want to slice it.
But as
for those of us who are going to say, well, they came from us. Look at their footprint on this planet. And for Greg again to say that this is 2,000 years. 2,000 years, my foot. We were in existence in our space more than 2,000 years. The Bible that is a benchmark to us was crafted in 1619. What happened before that? Where were we? Weren't we striving within our kingdom and queendoms within the continent of Africa, How can we cut off from our history? And this is my message to our people, This is my message. Are you feeling what I'm saying here?
Yes, I am.
This book that they give us that we gravitate to is to keep us right there.
But a question, caller. You mentioned about the Africa and the linkage we're trying to forge. Are you thinking about seeking an audience with the Prime Minister to share your views, discuss it with him?
Try. Let me say this. I serve tables. That's my job. You think that? I don't have to seek an audience with the Prime Minister. You know how they operate. I serve tables,
Mm-hmm.
And the knowledge that I'm having now, I wasn't taught it in school. Now, last week we were talking about dance abroad before we dance abroad.
Correct.
How many of us there were those who were before me, We have had how many prime ministers? Simmons, Douglas, and Timothy. You think they never heard that quote, dance abroad before we dance abroad? But look at the bigger picture. When are we going to dance abroad to know that what is abroad, we are entitled to what is abroad. I'm talking about the resources that is on the continent, so we're entitled to it. The system is keeping us away from it, and it is by design. But all of that is in the scriptures as well. I mentioned early this morning the story between Jacob and Isaac. We gave up our birthright and we didn't inherit the inheritance. So I can also give you a symbolism to the crucifixion of the Christ. Who was on both sides of Christ when he was crucified? Two thieves. But who are the two thieves, Christ? In reality, who are the two thieves? If the story is symbolic, we have Europe and America who've been exploiting as thieves our resources. Are you getting the picture?
Yes, I am understanding you quite clearly indeed. But we have
as
to
a
go.
Christian people now, we have converted to those who have colonized us, and they gave us their God. A God that has killed and ordered to kill. When you look at the footprint, are you not seeing them? Because if God is a spirit, Joy, who can say that they have seen a
30
spirit
seconds,
kill?
please.
And for those of us who say, oh, he's God, he gives life and he can take life. The Creator is of everlasting life and love, not of death. Let me repeat this. The Creator is of everlasting life and love, not of death. So when you say, oh, he's God, he gave life and he can... That's nonsense.
10 seconds, please.
The Creator only know life and love cry. And nature, there's no mistake in nature. Thank you for hearing me.
Thank you very much. Thank you for your call, and we do encourage you and other callers to call in and share your view. And it's an open house today. Monday, March is slipping away, but let us go downtown and pay some bills. Stick and stay, don't go away. We will be back in a few.
We're different. We're 98.9. 98.9. Win FM.
You ever hear Earthquake call and say, hello, Miss Lee, yes, it's me, Earthquake, I coming Tuesday around 10? No, sir. Earthquake does arrive unannounced, and when it come, it shake all sense and sensibility out of we. Remain calm, stay inside, and do the DCH. Drop, cover, hold on. Once the shaking starts, you know it's earthquake. Make a quick move to a safe place. Don't run to the door, we are in the exit. Stairs might broke up or full of people. Elevator, avoid that, because you might get in and poof, power gone, and you're stuck in that box without ear. Take cover under a strong table or a bed, or crouch against an inside wall or in a corner, and cover your face and your head with your arms. Remember, DCH, drop, cover, hold on. Glass windows and doors, outside walls and doors in an earthquake, bad news. Take for yourself. Most injuries during earthquakes happen when something drop and hit people entering or exiting a building. Last thing, nobody run outside and ask, you feel it, you feel it? Remain calm, stay indoors until all the shaking stop, and do the DCH, drop, cover, hold on.
This message is sponsored by the Australian Government, AusAid, and produced by NEMA in collaboration with WinFM.
Do you want to know what's happening in sport? Tune in to On The Ball, a weekly tour show which is on WinFM 98.9 every Tuesday from 7 to 9 p.m. with me, your host, Troy Biff Mills. We will keep you on the ball with our variety of guests and, of course, your calls, discussing the facts and the stats and sharing your opinions. Get on the ball and stay on the ball by tuning into On The Ball with Troy Biff Mills on WinFM 98.9 every Tuesday night from 7 to 9 p.m. and also on Facebook and YouTube. Be on the ball.
More than 42 million cars from 19 different car companies are being recalled for faulty airbag inflators. Repairs are fast, easy, and free. The problem isn't with the airbag, it's with the airbag inflator. Because the inflator can rupture, shooting shrapnel through the airbag, which can cause serious injury or even death. Don't risk it, fix it.
Please contact TDC Automotive Division to find out if your Toyota vehicle is affected by the Takata airbag recall. Visit or call us at 465-2511 in St. Kitts or 469-5430 in Nevis.
Come, build with us at Hostels Building and Nevis Centers. We don't just sell materials, we help you build your dreams. Whether it's a new home, a renovation, or DIY project, we're here to make it happen. That's why we say, build with us. From foundation to finish, come to our stores where we have the best in building materials, hardware, tools, paints, expert advice, and more. Whatever you need, you can count on us. So if you're ready to get started, build with us. With Hostels Building and Nevis Centers, you're not just building a structure, you're building a future. Let us help you create something amazing. Dream with us, plan with us, grow with us, build with us. Come build with us at Hostels Building and Nevis Centers today. Build with us at Hosfords.
Welcome back to Voices here on WinFM 98.9. And just in case you're wondering...
Good morning.
Oh, good morning, Miss Henry. Welcome.
I'm glad you took my call during the advertisement. I've been trying all morning, all last week.
Okay, we do apologize for that, ma'am. And
yes.
I'm glad
my good friend Journey. The journey is long and hard.
Yeah, as always.
Now, let me first start with some Thanksgiving thanks. My birthday was on Saturday, the 7th of March. Also, Paulina Nelson was her birthday. Other people, I suppose.
Happy birthday to you. And
yes, I'm still taking greetings. I'm taking cards. I'm taking anything. Good wishes and good praise.
And
now I want to thank...
but permit me happy and please, I apologize for not saying happy belated International Women's Day to all the ladies.
I'll come into that.
Okay. Continue.
And we deserve it, you know.
Yes, you most certainly do.
Now, let me thank all those who posted on my Facebook. So if you did and if you thought about it, you could do it still. I have the whole of March. You know, I was able to read you in our class, so my granddaughter was reading the names. And I was telling her, some of them I taught in I taught kindergarten, all the way to university, first year. And many of the names, you know, brought up memories, you know. Happy memories. And it's good to know that after all of this, I made 78 on Saturday, 78. Thank God for that.
Wow, yes, congrats.
Yes, man, because is what, 70 years past 8. You know, so it was rather hectic, though. Construction work was going on, you know what I mean? So listening to all of the greetings that were sent by my friends, colleagues, whatever, it helped to ease the burden. So I want to thank the people who came to work on the septic tank and on the house. They have to continue. Now, today is my granddaughter's birthday, my last granddaughter. I have great-grand. Her name is Zoe Jules. She lives in St. Paul's. She attends Newton Ground Primary School. Today, Zoe makes 11. So I want all of you in school and who know and the teachers know, give Zoe my greetings. I call this morning, but she had already. She lives in St. Paul, so she has to take the bus to Newton Ground. So to all the teachers in the Newton Ground Primary School, the head teacher and all the other teachers, go the extra mile for Zoe. You know, she's a fatherless child. Her father, Anthony Jude, was drowned at the bay. So she was not even 5 when it happened, you know. He was a fisherman, and he drowned. So, you know, she has to grow up without a father.
And I don't think that is easy at all.
But I want her to know and others to know. The Bible says God is the God of the fatherless, the widows, the orphans. You know, so she may not have a father, but she has one in heaven. Now, in terms of the Women's Day, I prefer for them to have the ceremony in an open space. When you don't have to go marry it. When you go into such a space, a lot of women are excluded financially, maybe not deliberately. It is more than just the people who were being honored who have to go. Some of their relatives like to go. I was given an award, I can't remember when, 2002. Either 1990 something or 2002, somewhere around here. So. It was held in an open space.
But
you know?
how are the ladies who are unable to go excluded financially? The ladies who you mentioned, they are excluded because it's held at Marriott. How is that?
Not financially, you know.
Yeah, how is it that they're excluded
financially?
financially?
The price, I'm talking about the price.
Oh, they have to buy a ticket?
Yeah, those who go, maybe not those who will be honored. But when you have honoring, even like when I got the CSM, it was held on the grounds of the governor's residence. And my grandchildren were able to go. May I witness it?
Okay, I'm with you.
So you don't give it more exposure. Because a lot of the women may not be in such a financial position. And even though they may be going free, they have children who want to see. I don't know. Have you ever seen the invitation that says, bring along who you want?
No, I haven't.
Well, just in case. But I was just suggesting to go back to that. Now, the women who we honor, a lot of us complain. We don't recommend people, some of us. We go to churches, we go to functions, we run organizations. And we are waiting to hear people name who we don't recommend. I have a Pastor George, but she's now confined to a wheelchair. Marjorie George was at Deputy High at Junior High. She taught in Convent. She was first at Cairn High School. Then she went down to the Technical College, you know. And I have never heard them recommend her. Maybe they have their own personal reasons, you know. So we should pay a little more attention. We have ordinary people in our village. I'm from Hainsmith village. I am a villager. But I have been residing in Newtown now. So for 40 years. My father was born in Newtown. My aunt and my grandmother said they lived in Newtown. In fact, where I live, and my grandmother used to live. Ordinary people. But this political thing is what killing us.
Who are the ones responsible for making the nominations?
That's what I just said, the people from the area.
So that is the official point.
Every criteria. There got to be some people. You don't think so?
Yeah, I wanted to really establish if it is done by the organizers as opposed to the grassroots people, as it were. But
maybe each village need to construct or design or prepare a list of the people who may be recommended.
So could I make a recommendation as an individual?
I think so, yes, because you're part of the sports department.
Okay, so then what do we have to do to encourage more individuals to do that? Do we have to have a campaign where, like you're saying...
I think, as I said, prepare, prepare a list. We have constituency. Some of them got 3 offices. Let the 3 offices prepare.
But do we want to make it a political thing by having the constituency?
It is political if only one person, if only one is doing it. Because sometimes the organizations who they're recommending are politically connected.
So why can't other organizations, churches, I don't know, sporting groups,
I think there
make recommendations?
That's what I'm saying. But it's still boiled up because we're so biased in our minds.
But are we going in
the government, you know what I'm talking about, right?
Yeah, but are we going any place with these biases?
That's what I'm saying. We got to do better. Because other people may be more worthy on the side watching.
A point being
and
made.
wondering.
A point being made, Miss Henry, that for the CARICOM meeting here, the Premier of Nevis wasn't invited.
That was bad manners, not to invite the man.
And at the
There's
same time,
no justification for it.
And at the same time, the member from Tobago came as part of the Trinidad and Tobago
I tell
contingent.
you, say, look, we don't say we're enlightened, you know. Let me tell all of you who don't know. There's 98% literacy rate that we'll be boasting about. It has to do with the number or the percentage of students from kindergarten to grade 6 who attend primary school.
So it doesn't have anything to do with high school
yes,
or people out of school?
It falls off after you go to high school. In some cases, while 100% go into high school or junior high, by the time they reach Form 5, 20% of them don't drop out. So the cohort in that age group falls not from 98 in primary school to sometimes 80% in only less. Are you aware of that?
No, I was going to ask you where you're getting your information from.
Education statistics. You know? There's an education, I don't know if it's still operating. Nigel Carter used to be there. Marston used to be there. It is collected and collated. Almost everybody go from kindergarten, from preschool now, up to grade 6. The dropout rate is very low. But once they enter into the high school, by fourth form, 20% of them don't drop out. Because there's this method of, if you can't write 5, 6, they put you out. You understand? Some of them live on their own because they can't cope. Are you aware of that?
Well, I wasn't aware. I'm understanding what you're saying.
Oh,
but
the stats there.
it is a concern I have. In this day and age, I don't believe persons above a certain age or below a certain age really should be illiterate because of the availability of schooling.
Yeah, but the level, you know, remember that they may be literate, but remember, when you go into high school, you're no longer reading at grade 4 or grade 5 level, you know. I taught mathematics in high school, so I could tell you. I taught from kindergarten all the way up to Foster University. Let me tell you something. When in the automatic promotion, it goes through in primary school. Read or can't read, you move up. You then transfer, so there's no reason to drop out because you're moving up. I thought the last place I taught primary school was at the Bastille Girls School, I think. I taught Irish Town for 5 years, Trinity for 3 years. I taught in boys' school, I taught in girls' school. Anyway, but what I'm saying is this. Automatic promotion takes you to the system in primary.
So are you saying, Ms. Henry, that there is no longer the promotion system if you're not capable of doing the work at that level? If you're having a challenge at, say, grade 5, are you saying you're going to be, you're going to be automatically promoted to grade 6, or they're going to keep you at grade 5?
Yeah, or you end up in Cotton Thomas.
But Cotton Thomas wasn't meant for a different purpose.
Of course, they start with kindergarten.
Yes, but it's not for persons.
How do you think the crowd's a big deal? But then I'll consider it out of it.
Because I'll tell you something. I repeated grade 6. And the reason why I repeated grade 6, and it was then the Sandy Point Infant School, was because my birthday was in December. Well, it is in December, the 9th of December. And I was told something about too late down. And guess what? I would have made 12 in first form, but persons younger than me went down, and I, from an academic point of view, but I don't mean to beat me chest or anything like that. I believe I was at least at their level, but because of that age thing, which has changed since, I believe.
Yes, but let me tell you something about that age thing. Now, in the primary, let me get back to the primary school. I taught at Irish school a number of years. And they had this thing about, the policy was, you must make 12 by the 1st of September. I remember that. Me and all born from the 2nd of September. They got to wait a whole year. My son was born the 15th.
Which is ridiculous in my view.
15th of September. He had to repeat a whole year. So what I did, rather than him reaching grade 6 and have to repeat, I repeated him in grade 5. So I said by the time he reached to grade 6, he'd already made 12. Now some children who were exceptional went as early as 10 years. Did you know Cindy Quashie?
No, I don't know.
Her mother used to be a nurse at the Basset Clinic, and the father was retired, I think. They had to make her the argument. She was top in the class already in 6A. Remember, Mr. Halliday came to the school and said, well, they were going to stop taking children 10 years and younger, because what they found, those who came in 11 and so, they were being emotionally abused by the older children. Because you end up in a class with 12-year-old and 13-year-old. So he said, well, look, let them repeat, let them stay back in the primary school. So we go back to the high school now.
Interesting.
Automatic promotion, read and couldn't read, end up in the high school, the junior high.
But isn't there a system where the stronger students go to the top class and those who are...
Yeah, the school grade them. When they go to junior high, they find themselves in the, what you call the dunce class. They're not adequately prepared this year. You got a lot of them. That's why they call junior high Vietnam. Teachers ignoring them. Maybe might have one specialized teacher to carry hundreds of children. Because once you were being moved up, whether you realize you couldn't, you had to go to high school. You had to go.
And Miss Henry, I'm liking this conversation. I'm liking the topic. However, we have to go to a break. So
yeah, I'm going to go to the break. Could I hold on and you go break and I come back? Because it's a landline.
Okay. All right, ma'am. Let us try that. Just for you, I know you're an ardent
Yes, because I'm finished now.
Okay, stick and stay. Don't go away. You're listening to Voices here on WinFM 98.9. And in case you're wondering, I'm Troy Biff Mills. I'm holding it down for the man, the quintessential one, Quint RQ, because he is on holidays. I think he gets back sometime next week, maybe next week Friday or the Monday after. So you have me for the whole of this week and almost the whole of next week. But stick and stay. Don't go away. We will be right back.
We're different. We're 98.9. 98.9. Win FM.
Unlock the secrets to a healthier you. Join Dr. Natalie Osborne every Tuesday at 8:30 a.m. on WinFM 98.9 for Weekly Dose. During this 30-minute health discussion, we aim to educate and empower our listeners on the prevention of diseases, early diagnosis, and timely intervention. Don't miss out on this informative health talk where we teach you to live your best life. Weekly Dose, Tuesdays on WinFM 98.9.
Got itchy palms? That's a sign. Money could be coming your way with Scratch and Win from Caribbean Lottery. It's the easiest way to win instantly. No waiting, no fuss. With tickets starting from just $2 up to $20, win over $35 million in prizes. The higher the price, the bigger the prize. So scratch today for your chance to win up to $200,000. Available at Caribbean Lottery agents island-wide. Must be 21 years and older to play.
Welcome back to Voices. Welcome back to Voices here on WinFM 98.9. I am Troy Biff Mills in the
Yes,
house.
I am still here. I'm still here.
Okay, wonderful.
Now, let me say something about.
Miss Henry, we had a caller to coming in during the break, so I'm just going to give you a few more minutes to wrap up, please.
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
Now, on Saturday, I had on YouTube played something, and when it finished, a thing came on about Ethiopia. They talk about different parts of Africa, Ethiopia, the geography and the culture and whatever. I don't know if Greg need to listen to it. Christianity was in Africa before the Europeans came. Christianity was in Africa before. You know about Nubia?
Yes, I've heard of it.
Christianity went there for Sudan. So Africans were introduced to Christianity before the European came. Of course, they came with some of them with evil intent. That doesn't make things bad. A little knowledge is a dangerous thing. And so when we try to disparage, you go to listen to a lot of sides, you know. When I reached to UE, I went to do economics. I did economics, I must say. We talk about Sir Arthur Lewis. I was shocked to hear my lecturers were tearing the man apart. Because while the economy in what do you call the place now? Puerto Rico was booming at first. It was called Operation Bootstrap. You know that one? Pulling yourself up by your boots.
Mm-hmm.
You heard about that? He had promoted that for the Caribbean. Well, before he could finish talking, the Americans, as usual, began to pull all these factories and so out of Puerto Rico back into the mainland, plunged Puerto Rico into poverty till they can't come out. And so what they were saying, what the economists, the lecturers were saying, he had proposed that there's no way the small islands in the Caribbean could ever become independent. I remember that clearly. There we were trying to pull up ourselves. And they said he was wrong because he promoted it in St. Kitts. We began a lot of factories. And they began to pull out, they have our economy like this now. Pull them out, carry them to Mexico, anywhere they could get cheaper wages. We were even working for less than a US dollar a day, you know, an hour, you know that?
No, I didn't realize that.
Yeah, when you convert the $3 an hour, also that they were working for. When Curtis Mattis came here, they were paying the same thing like the sugar estate, with the excuse that if they carry up the wages, people would abandon the sugar estate. I myself, as a statistician, economic statistician, interviewed a man, our chairman, and I don't call the name, but God knows what we're talking about, that the chamber itself had informed or encouraged the industrial side not to pay the people in the U.S. One of them came and said they were going to pay the U.S. I don't even know about that. They said if they were to carry up the wages beyond what they were being paid in St. Kitts, people would abandon the manufacturing sector.
Miss Henry, can I give you 15 seconds to wrap up? There's another call coming in.
Give me 15 seconds. Give me 15 seconds.
Yes, please. There's another call coming in.
Yes. So when we talk about Greg is looking at the side that favors him, but on the YouTube you get the bad side, the good side, and the middle side. And so he's greatly incorrect.
5 seconds, please.
So Greg, examine every concept you have from 100 angles and then decide. All right then.
Okay, thank you, Miss Henry. We appreciate your contribution and we appreciate your listening. And to everyone who is listening, you can call us 466-0989 and we'll be able to go live. We have another caller. Let us go live. Good morning, caller. Welcome to Voices.
Hi, good morning, Beth.
Good morning. How are you?
You know, I'm great. I'm great. You know, we listen to Sylvine, and I think that we overlook the importance of the things that Sylvine has to say. Okay? I think WinFM should look, or you should have a program one of these days where you can have Sylvine on and she can talk about all of the things that was of great importance to us that we would have revamped and changed and have made a mess of. I honestly think that we are losing our historians without getting all of the information, or that we really need, because we're no longer building on. We have revamped and we have started again. We recognize the problem that it's causing, and recognizing that those people are leaving us now, and we won't have that source anymore. But it was quite interesting when she talked about the selection committee for the
International Women's Day.
The international, yeah. And I see, one of the things that I see, and people glorifying the fact that they are selected. What is their contribution? None. There's some people who, you get on the radio, you have a talk show, or you whatever you do, you make clothes. For me, it's the contribution that you would have made to society, who would have benefited from your skills and talent, or your involvement in society. You talk about Miss George, and that's one reason why I call Miss George. Taught me in junior high school. Miss George she was a Christian. She was a teacher. She was a mother to every motherless child. She was a woman, for me, of great stature. But young people would never know of Miss George because nobody talk about her. These are the people that you look for, people who would have made serious contribution to the community and society on a whole. They're speaking from friendship thing, and there's some people who I say, and honestly, I'm sorry to say, but they're not qualified, but they're there. And that is one of the problems that I have. That is one of the biggest problems that I have. We have to start looking at what we do, how we do things, and how we can influence young people to do otherwise. These are the kind of things that we have to seriously start to look at. But if we can look, and she talked about the school system, the educational system. We boast 98% literacy. 98% literacy. We can read, we can write. Can we understand? The teaching, the way we teach children to read in school now is by memory, and this is no joke. I used to teach some remedial children, and when I had a little boy who could have read a book with the book closed, I was shocked. He was reading and the book was closed, and when I closed the book, he continued reading. When I opened the book, he was reading straight through, and this is how our children are taught to read. So I wonder if we can still boast 98% literacy in St. Kitts and Nevis, and that is one of the big problems that we have now. 98% literacy, you can read, you can write, you could understand 2 plus 2 math, you can understand, you go to a shop with $10, you spend $8, you can get $2 back as change. You could understand that, and that is as far as it goes. Is there something that we boast? When we look at our education system, when we look at the product, the people who are coming up there, the 13 and the 19 subjects that they get, and when you ask them simple questions about the subject they would have passed, they don't know. Children have means and ways now of getting information. The SPAs are not written by children anymore. Parents used to help them, but now they have ChatGPT. They have everything that they can get information from. So do we still boast 98% literacy? These are the questions we have. We have to start looking seriously at our educational system. When we look at who's at the helm, then it's a lot to be desired. There are other systems that we have to look at and think it. There's a topic that I'm going to call into more sooner and later. Our healthcare system. It's deplorable. These are things that we have to look at, Biff. There are a lot of systems that we have to look at and things that we have to change seriously.
Very good point,
That's
Connor.
why it is true. That's why we see people vote along the lines that they vote on, because they don't have an understanding. And this is not politics. This is not party politics. We're talking about on a whole. There are systems in thinkers that are deplorable. We are not looking at what's happening in the world, because trust me, when it reaches to us, we are doomed. We're not prepared. Everybody's going away, coming back. Nobody come back and alerting or notifying. At one point in time, somebody's supposed to go to the schools and start telling children what they have to start doing. Maybe in the next 2 years, seriously, you read and you see what things are happening. In the next 2 years, children who are 14, 16 will never work in their life because you have digital. Everything is going digital. So you're sending your children to school now at 14, 15, 16. When they're done, they don't have to work. The world is changing, and we are not changing with it. Because we are kept in a position. I'm sorry?
Very good point, Carla.
Yeah, it's true. We are kept in a position so that we can put people in positions where they themselves know what is going on and they can benefit. We have to have serious conversation, Beth. We have to use the medium that you have to have serious conversations so that people can have an idea of what is going on in the world. I'm not going to say much today. I am waiting for a meeting today, and after that, then I will call and I'll be a part of your show. I'll talk on the radio because our people have to be educated. So if you talk about religion, we are looking at things that create an argument. We want things that are going to educate our people. We look at the situation that we have in Nevis SSD. I said they have young boys advertising, and then we have, I don't know if it's Mark Anson or AI. We're going around about $100 for Nevision. Every household, you're going to get $100. Since we got there, where money is everything, $100, that shows where our economy is and how desperate our people are. These are the things that we have to look at. When we are talking, we have to be educating, not just talking for talking's sake. You understand? And we're going to have to seriously shape our conversations, our radio programs, in a point where we can start to educate. This is the medium that we're going to use. I hope you have a great day, and I hope that the people become aware of the seriousness and the position that we are placing. You see, the CARICOM situation we have, our ordinary people doesn't understand. Nobody going to teach them. They don't know what is happening, and we boast 98% literacy. Being able to read and understand is two different situations. You understand? We have countries, Caribbean countries going against one another. And everybody has an opinion, but it's not properly discussed. So people are unaware what is really happening in the world. It's a great show that you have, Biff. I like the fact that you give people a chance to explain themselves, and I'm not going to overdo it. I'm going to listen in again, and I'm going to call him if it's necessary.
Thank you very much, Carla, and happy belated International Women's Day to you. Oh, we lost that caller. Very important points, very serious points, and we need to perhaps dig a little deeper when persons are saying things, just not scrape it off of the surface. And there's a calypso by, I think it's Bomber. We got to look below the surface. Because, of course, in the nice words, everything that glitter isn't gold, etc., etc., and the proof of the pudding is eating. But the comprehension level. And children doing 19 and 21 subjects, is that really necessary? And a few years ago, I think it was Dwyer Astafan I heard. He was the first that I could remember to express his view that he doesn't believe that children doing 17 and 19, and that was it back then. I think children are now doing 21 and 23 CXC subjects. I mean, really, I cannot understand what that's done. I mean, maybe things have changed so much. When I went to school, we were told in third form, you decide what you want to be in life, and you choose your subjects accordingly. I wanted to be a medical doctor, so I did physics, chemistry, biology, mathematics, and the economic conditions didn't allow me to go to sixth form. So I came up with this bright idea. Okay, I'm going to work, and after 2 years, I'm going to do all A levels during that period, and then perhaps try to get a scholarship, go off. But I taught for 2 years, and then I shifted to the telephone company. And like I said, when I taught back in 1981, I was getting, $545 EC a month, and as a substitute teacher. And that money had just gone up from $380 the previous year in 1980. After the elections in 1980, the government went in and they changed the minimum wage, I think, and whatever it was, but the salary for teachers went up from $380 to $545. And when I left and I went to 2 years after, I went to telephone department as a technician, I was getting $935 a month, I think. So we're talking almost 100% increase. And really, sad to say, that was the end of my my thinking about medical career. And had I gone, I might not have been here today. But there's another caller. Good morning, caller. Welcome to Voices. You're live and lively.
Yes. Greetings once more again, Biff.
Greetings, sir.
Greetings once more again. Greetings once more again to you and all your listeners. Greetings once more in Jesus Christ's name, the only Savior of sinners. Now, what I would like to say, Biff, I would like, first of all, let's say happy belated birthday greetings, Miss Henry. Hope you had a good and wonderful birthday in Jesus' name. Also, what I would like to say is that, Miss Henry, I think you misunderstand me. I think probably you might have gotten mixed up with Johnny. Because over and over again on WinFM, including this morning on Island T, I made the point that Christianity was very long before in Africa, before the Europeans got there and before the slave trade. That was my point. So, may it's non contrary to what you said on that point. As a matter of fact, I even said the first country to declare itself to be a Christian nation was Sudan, and that was before any European country did that. So I think, Miss Henry, you got your information mixed up between me and Johnny. I think what you said really go for Johnny and not for me. Because the same point you made about Christianity being in Africa before Europeans get there, before Europeans get in Africa, the same point I've been making continually on WinFM, including this morning on Island T.
Okay, thank you, Greg, for clarifying that.
Yes. Also, what I would like to say, the only thing that completely and truly liberate and give freedom to mankind is the Bible, because the Bible says the truth shall set you free once you come to know the truth, and the truth is Jesus Christ via the Bible, by the Bible and through the Bible. Now, what I also would like to say is that a lot of the confusions that we are experiencing in this world, including the wars and what's not, is simply because we are disobedient to the word, the Bible, that is. And let me say this. This is going to go to Johnny when he said God is a God of love, and something else he said God is a God of. But let me say this. God love is very limited, and it is limited to only those who God has chosen from all eternity to be saved in Jesus Christ and to be conformed to the image of Jesus Christ. Read Ephesians chapter 1, read Romans chapter 9, for example, and Romans chapter 8, for example.
Greg, have you ever thought about going into the priesthood with such a passion for Christianity and the Bible?
Okay, number one, all true Christians are priests. All true Christians are priests because we are a holy nation of priests. But to be under shepherd of a church or anything like that, I leave that in Jesus' hands. All I could do right now is just spread his word as he commands us to spread his word and teach his word as we get the opportunity in the byways and in the highways. That's most I can do right now. All other things, I left the results to Jesus Christ. But let me say this, Biff. Let me say this. You see, the reason why we have so many denominations today, one of the reasons is because people pick and choose what they want to believe in the world. Romans chapter 9 tells us God loved Jacob and he hated Esau. He loved Jacob and he hated Esau even while they were in the womb.
Where is that in the Bible again?
Hello?
Repeat where that is in the Bible.
Romans chapter 9. I forget the specific verses, but Romans chapter 9. Also in Psalms 5 and Psalms 11, God tells you he hates and he detests the workers of iniquity. People who practice wickedness, evilness, and sin and iniquity. God tells you he hates them and he detests them in Psalms 5 and Psalms 11. And there are other places as well. There are other places as well that shows you that anybody God loves. He loves those who based upon Ephesians chapter 1, who God the Father predestined for salvation from all eternity to be conformed to the image of life, to the image of Christ. Those are the ones who God loves. Okay,
Greg, we have to go to a break now, so you have a few seconds, 10 seconds to wrap up, please.
Yes. So if we say God loves everybody without exception, we're going to run in conflict with Romans chapter 9, where he says he loved Jacob and hated Esau, and we're going to run in conflict with the Psalms, where he says he hates and detests those who practice iniquity.
All right. Thank you very much, Greg. I appreciate the fact that you're listening.
Thank you very much.
Thank you for calling in. And please do continue to listen. And to all the callers, you're free to join in and introduce any topic you would like. There are quite a few things. I'm hoping persons would chime in, apart from the lady who called in about what Miss Henry said, the illiteracy rate, etc. And let us hear your view. But stick and stay. Don't go away. We will be right back.
You found the sound. 98.9 Win FM.
Heritage matters to me. Heritage matters to you. Join me, Percival Hanley, this coming Friday and every other Friday at 10 a.m. to 12 noon for Heritage Matters on Win Media SKN 98.9. Heritage matters to me. Heritage matters to you.
More than 42 million cars from 19 different car companies are being recalled for faulty airbag inflators. Repairs are fast, easy, and free. The problem isn't with the airbag, it's with the airbag inflator. Because the inflator can rupture, shooting shrapnel through the airbag, which can cause serious injury or even death. Don't risk it, fix it.
Please contact TDC Automotive Division to find out if your Toyota vehicle is affected by the Takata airbag recall. Visit or call us at 465-2511 in St. Kitts or 469-5430 in Nevis.
Come, build with us at Hostels Building and Nevis Centers. We don't just sell materials, we help you build your dreams. Whether it's a new home, a renovation, or a DIY project, we're here to make it happen. That's why we say, build with us. From foundation to finish, come to our stores where we have the best in building materials, hardware, tools, paints, expert advice, and more. Whatever you need, you can count on us. So if you're ready to get started, build with us. With Hostels Building and Nevis Centers, you're not just building a structure, you're building a future. Let us help you create something amazing. Dream with us, plan with us, grow with us, build with us. Come build with us at Hostels Building and Nevis Centers today. Build with us at Hostels.
You ever hear Earthquake call and say, "Hello, Miss Lee, yes, it's me, Earthquake, I coming Tuesday around 10? No, sir. Earthquake does arrive unannounced, and when it come, it shake all sense and sensibility out of we. Remain calm, stay inside, and do the DCH. Drop, hover, hold on. Once the shaking starts, you know it's earthquake. Make a quick move to a safe place. Don't run to the doorway or any exit. Stairs might block up or full of people. Elevator, avoid that because you might get in and poof, power gone, and you're stuck in that box without ear. Take cover under a strong table or a bed, or crouch against an inside wall or in a corner, and cover your face and your head with your arms. Remember, DCH, drop, cover, hold on. Glass windows and doors, outside walls and doors in an earthquake, bad news. Take care yourself. Most injuries during earthquakes happen when something drop and hit people entering or exiting a building. Last thing, nobody run outside and ask, you feel it, you feel it? Remain calm, stay indoors until all the shaking stop, and do the DCH, drop, cover, hold on.
This message is sponsored by the Australian Government, AusAid, and produced by NEMA in collaboration with WinFM.
Right here. Hello?
Good day, welcome back to Voices.
Yes, welcome back. I'm going to make two short
I appreciate it because there's another caller.
No, on the 5th of March, the Antioch Baptist Church celebrated its anniversary. Also ZIZ. Well, being born and raised in the village, I grew up with Brother Connor before he became the Baptist Church. So my ground is in that church. Now, ZIZ started in 61. Today, 26. Up until today, with all kind of change in administrations, ZIZ remain close to the opposition. So while we got a lot to celebrate with ZIZ, it has failed us tremendously. We've had all kind of change in parties and whatever. But what it has done, it has stifled true democracy. We tend to overlook it. When people out, they're going to open it up. There is the Four Seasons card. You remember that?
Yes, I do.
In 1994?
I don't remember the year, but I remember the Four Seasons card.
Yes. After that, the Butler and Stone throwing.
Which was
in 93. They had a card to try to work out fresh election. It was signed in Nevis that they were going to allow the opposition access to it. 2026 is just government. What are we really doing? That is why it is easy to exclude the Nevis administration from the CARICOM meeting. We talk, but we don't believe what we say.
But Carla, shouldn't you and I hold the political parties to their words? Because like you said, if you're in government today, I'm going to criticize you for not allowing the opposition to access to the national radio station. But I get in tomorrow, and I'm going to do the same thing, but you're not going to say anything, and nobody going to say anything. And then you get in the day after, and you do the same thing. So where does it start? Where does it end?
We got big celebration. Our state. We have failed, I listen to a lot of stations, Jamaica, Barbados, all over the place, on my tuning, You want to know why are we so backward? Nevis used to have an outlet. They closed down that. Nevis has two stations, 1 and 2020 Vision. They're separated. How you expect the people to think broader when you are confining their mind to one idea? I am calling upon this government here who signed it, not Dr. Jones. Signed it.
But
and you want to tell me you're going,
Isn't this where the literacy rate or illegitimate illiterate rate comes in?
Misinterpreted.
A lady called in after you, and she said it was much bigger and deeper, according to you, than passing subjects, 21 subjects, whatever. I mean...
But let me tell you that's 21 something. You know, when I did this thing, I did biology. And now I have human biology. It's actually only one subject, you know. But they have it broken up in all kind of parts now. That is why when the chap from Nevis got 12 or whatever, 15. The students are smart. They're doing business. They're doing...
But could you wrap up, caller? There's another caller coming in. There's another caller coming in.
Yeah, but so that we're fooling ourselves. So I'm calling upon the administration for the said to truly open up. I listen to CISPAN a lot. You listen to CISPAN?
5 seconds, please, caller.
Please, I do better. Congratulations to the Baptists.
All right, thank you. We go to the next call. Good day, caller. Welcome to Voices. You're live on air.
Yes, good morning again.
Morning, sir.
I too am concerned about, I'm not questioning the 98% or whatever percentage it is, literacy. But what concerns me is whether or not that high rate is enough to put us where we want to be at this present time. Okay? Because, like a previous caller said, it goes beyond the literacy rate. You know? It goes to things like comprehension, analysis, and those things. Okay? Because if we were that literate, right, there is no way nobody would be able to dangle $100 in front of us to promote, for instance, the Destiny Project. That couldn't happen. It just couldn't, right? And so we have to look beyond this literacy rate and go for something deeper. You've got to be more conscious of things like your history, development in the world, and so on. Okay? I also question, because you see, when I started teaching, it was in Sandy Point High School, as a matter of fact. And I remember principal then saying, he was basically promoting the automatic elevation throughout the different grades, okay? Whether you met the standards or not. And basically his point was, if you start keeping down people, and putting them in low classes and those sort of things, what you're going to have to do is start grading your teachers as well. And the teachers not going to like that, right? And so his idea was to keep them moving up. Was supposed to help the ones who are struggling accordingly. But that takes a certain type of teacher, and I mean specialists even. And I don't think they were available back then, and people and a lot of children suffered because of that, because basically they were pretty much ignored. Okay, that is why you were able to go all the way up to fourth and fifth form and still can't essentially read and write properly or communicate. Okay, it was a problem from the start. I'm sure it's changed now. I don't know how. I'm really not aware on how to deal with it now, but it is something I hope does not continue. All right. But what the previous caller also said was that basically what she was pointing to is that the whole world is changing now, and we're not. It doesn't seem as if we've got that memo. Okay? So we continue to do the same things as before, right? Operate government the same way. I mean, you take, for instance, you mentioned early in the program the Prime Minister's trip to Ghana. Signed a visa-free agreement. As far as I know, when we signed those things before, it was the foreign minister, right? Brantley used to go around the world trying to get visa-free, as many visa-free entries as possible, clients as possible, not clients, countries as possible. Okay. It did, to me, you don't require a state visit to do that, right? I would be more inclined, for instance, in this environment, okay, and I understand the emotional attachment to Africa, right? But go to where can bring quick results, because developing those kinds of linkages and so on with Africa are going to take a lot of time and effort and resources. We have the whole of South America. We have Brazil and those countries which geographically is easier to develop links with. I would have gone down south first before I headed east, in my opinion. Okay? But generally speaking generally now, I don't think we realize how much of a quandary we're going to be in. We still look at things like agriculture as well. That's the place to put your weakest minister, to let him oversee that. And don't put in the necessary investments and so on to make sure that we can feed ourselves. Because, when the crunch comes, that is going to come down to that, right? And we really need, there should have been a national effort at meeting the challenges right now. There should have been some kind of symposium or something where all heads get together and decide that this is the way forward. And if everybody does that, rather than leave it to a narrow government, a small, a few 8, 10, 11 people to decide, let it be broader, right? So that we really have, first, a unified approach to development, and secondly, some kind of development plan rather than plodding ahead as if it's business as usual when it isn't, or following other Caribbean people or Caribbean leaders when in fact we need to forge ahead. Okay, so I think is just I think we need a wake-up call to realize that it is not business as usual, and we need to do things differently. We're not doing things differently. The SSZ project, the Destiny project, for instance, that is supposedly going to rely on the same CBI methods that we have already said they're falling rapidly. So why put your hopes in something like that? You've got to have fresh ideas, fresh thinking, and I'm not seeing it yet. I'm not. Honestly, I'm not seeing the urgency that is needed to deal with the problems that are afoot.
But Carlo, who do you think? Yeah. Who would you really blame for that? Would you blame the politicians, or would you blame the people? Because if I come as a politician dangling a carrot in front of you, and I'm getting it work this time, and I do it the next time, and I get it work, do you blame the politicians, or do you blame the people for allowing the politicians to get that work?
Look, you see how Donald Trump, one man, can change the world in 1 year?
Mm-hmm.
I don't underestimate the power of leadership, okay? And you may say it's good or bad. He may change it in a maybe a good way for the U.S., but bad for the rest of the world. You can argue about the change. But the fact is, to change things in a drastic way requires leadership, okay? And yes, it does not absolve the fact that the people themselves have a responsibility to, as I said, be more discerning, don't allow themselves to be bribed don't allow themselves to be pinned down to one political party or the next, or stop voting for people for frivolous reasons like, well, I like the way he look, or, some other kind of frivolous reason, right? It's time to make good choices, proper choices, analytical choices based on the things that they're going to come at you with. And certainly, and I agree, that we have been spoiled in the sense of there have been precedents set for giving gifts and handouts and all kind of social programs and so on. And these encourage more dependence than resilience. Okay, I agree that has happened, but in order to change things, right, it's going to take some leader with the guts to do. And it isn't that they don't know what should be done, but they take the easier route and bribe and give people who are easily distracted to create diversions for them and so on. That's the easy route. So to answer your question directly, I think it falls back to leadership, right? Somebody got to bite the bullet. Somebody got to bell the cat, as they normally say, right? And the people will eventually go along because the results of that is going to be better, right, in the long run, yeah. And you have to stop thinking 1 or 2 years down the road. You have to look beyond that because a lot of the prescriptions are going to take more than 2 or 3 years. And so in the meantime, you have to be prepared for pushback and people belly aching and all those kinds of things, to be quite honest. We just can't continue doing things like how we've been doing in the past. And that's a lot of our recent governments, it's always been done this way. We play politics the same way. We operate government the same way. We reward friends and punish enemies, those kinds of things. And we call it politics, good politics. We say when a politician can get away with all the nonsense that they get away with, that he's a great politician. We got to be more, we have to stop being so superficial and really get serious. That's what I think anyway.
Thank you very much, caller. Quite a mouthful indeed. We really appreciate you listening and calling. You're listening to Voices here on WinFM 98.9. I think this is a good point for us to take a break and go down and pay some bills, big up our sponsors. Without them, this show wouldn't be possible. So stick and stay. Don't go away. We will be right back in a
We're different. We're 98.9. 98.9. Win FM.
Tea time, calling night, noon and morning. Tasty biscuit, just can't resist it. Tea time, calling night, noon and morning. Tasty biscuit, just can't resist it.
You can dunk it, you look it, you taste it, you spin it, you twist it, you can mix them all together. It don't get any better. You can dunk it, you look it, you taste it, you spin it, you twist it, you can mix them all together. It don't get any better. Anytime, whatever time. It's tea time. Whatever time. It's tea time. Snack on a delicious tea time biscuit anytime. It's tea time.
Hear Earthquake call and say, hello, Miss Lee, yes, it's me, Earthquake, I come in Tuesday around 10. No, sir. Earthquake does arrive unannounced, and when it come, it shake all sense and sensibility out of we. Remain calm, stay inside, and do the DCH. Drop, cover, hold on. Once the shaking starts, you know it's earthquake. Make a quick move to a safe place. Don't run to the door, we are any exit. Stairs might broke up or full of people. Elevator, avoid that, because you might get in and poof, power gone, and you're stuck in that box without ear. Take cover under a strong table or a bed, or crouch against an inside wall or in a corner, and cover your face and your head with your arms. Remember, DCH, drop, cover, hold on. Glass windows and doors, outside walls and doors in an earthquake, bad news. Take care yourself. Most injuries during earthquakes happen when something drop and hit people entering or exiting a building. Last thing, nobody run outside and ask, you feel it, you feel it? Remain calm, stay indoors until all the shaking stop and do the DCH. Drop, cover, hold on.
This message is sponsored by the Australian Government, AusAid, and produced by NEMA in collaboration with WinFM.
Do you want to know what's happening in sport? Tune in to On the Ball, a weekly tour show which is on WinFM 98.9 every Tuesday from 7 to 9 p.m. with me, your host, Troy Biff Mills. We will keep you on the ball with our variety of guests and, of course, your calls, discussing the facts and the stats and sharing your opinions. Get on the ball and stay on the ball by tuning into On the Ball with Troy Biff Mills on WinFM 98.9 every Tuesday night from 7 to 9 p.m. and also on Facebook and YouTube. Be on the ball. Welcome back to Voices here on WinFM 98.9. I am Troy Biff Mills holding it down. It's 11:24, so we have 36 minutes. We have a caller online. Let us go straight to the caller and say good morning, caller. Welcome to Voices. You're live. We seem to have lost that caller. Caller, you there? Okay, there's another caller. Let's go to this caller and say good morning, caller. We lost that caller. I guess I'm not as fast as I need to be. But please call back, caller 466-0989, and let us know what's on your mind. And again, if you're calling from the UK, you can call us at 033-344-0065. In the UK, you can call 033-344-0065. And in the US of A, 718-285-6984, 718-285-6984, or 305-921-4619 if you're in Canada, 305-921. They are calling for the cease to the war on Iran, and if and when that is going to happen, I'm not certain. And there's still the uncertainty with the FIFA World Cup happening in the USA, Mexico, and Canada. I haven't heard anything recently about the granting of visas. And remember, the president of the US, they indicated some countries for application of visas, it will be as much as 15,000 US. How many persons in the world, the average man and woman on the street, will be able to afford that? And a few of the countries, their fans, they have already bought tickets, booked flights, and they're trying to cancel them because of these restrictions. How it will work out, I'm not certain. I'm not hearing anything from FIFA. And the funny thing about it, ladies and gentlemen, one of the callers mentioned ChatGPT. This AI thing, it's a serious thing. In my view, you just can't go on YouTube and pull up something and read it and say, okay, yes, this is fact. This is good. This is happening. And I don't know. And even for sporting items, I find it challenging. But let us go to the line and welcome this caller to Voices. Good morning. Welcome to Voices. You're live.
Hi, good morning.
Morning.
You all talk about the CARICOM. They did not invite the premier from Nevis, and that's not good. But you see what happened that the premier holding two fire and water in the same hand. All the CARICOM leaders came to St. Kitts. They did not take the opposition leader with them. Mark is two things. He's the opposition leader and also the premier. If he had give up the opposition leader, and they didn't invite him. I could have said that because he's the premier. But he's the opposition leader. How you invite opposition leader? That's crazy.
That's a
So
good.
I don't see why they're talking about it.
That's a good point, caller. I didn't look at it from that angle. I didn't look at it from that angle at all. But that makes it sounds reasonable. And I could recall way back when the late Honor Vance Amry, when he was premier, and he had the opportunity to be leader of the opposition. And I think his thinking was, no, it doesn't make sense because it's like fire and water, like you said. And if I'm not mistaken, I think the late Malcolm Gishard, he was made the leader of the opposition.
Yes, because the thing is that you can be opposite, and when you are going to assembly, talking and going on against what they're saying, when you want anything, who you have to go to them to ask them for help. So so that's why they did. I am going to stay the premier and get in the back seat and let somebody else do that. I can always go boldly and say such and such, and I am not opposing nothing. You understand?
Mm-hmm. But sometime last week as well, caller, a point was made that perhaps all the members of parliament should have been invited to that, and if that were to be the case, then Mark would have also been invited in that capacity.
Exactly, because all the parliament members, opposition and team leader, I mean, I could understand. But all the CARICOM leaders come down to St. Kitts. They did not take the opposition leader with them. Only saying, okay, I'll talk. Thanks very much.
Okay, thank you very much, caller. We appreciate that view. I really didn't look at it from that angle. I mean, anybody out there, if you look at it like that, call in and share your views. The caller made a point about going against. I never subscribe to the fact that because you're the opposition, you oppose everything. I'm not so sure that's a matured way to look at things. I expect if an opposition, you're there, if something is good on the table, the government is doing something or wants to do something good, you say, yes, hey, that's a good idea, I support it. If the opposition is going to say, well, hey, you're going to spend $1 million to do this project, but I believe it should only cost $750,000, or they're going to say, well, we're going to take 3 years to do this project, and the opposition say, well, hey, yes, you can rush it, but I'm thinking 3 years is a little too long, maybe 2 years or 2.5 years. Okay, that's the kind of opposition I think is necessary, but not to say, oh no, you're going to build a water dam. Oh no, we don't need a water dam. We need this, we need that. And the opposition have to support the government when good things are being done, because if the government is doing something good and you're going to oppose it, how could you come to me, the electorate, the man on the street, and try to convince me a good thing is not a good thing because the government is doing it? I have a little challenge with that. I don't know how that should be playing out. But it's unfortunate, and our people, we have the power, we have the authority, but too much times we don't really exercise it, because as it is said, especially around elections, you hear the talk that, hey, you are the employers, you're the people, the man on the street, the man in Phillips's, the man up Craddock Road or wherever. You are the employers, we the politicians are the employees. But once they win, do they operate like that? I don't know. But shifting a bit, for those Indians living here in St. Kitts and those who are into sports, the ICC T20 World Cup that was completed yesterday. India really took advantage of New Zealand. At one point, the way the Indians were going, I thought they would have made close to 300, a little over 300. But New Zealand came back, and in one over, they picked up 3 wickets, and they were 155 1. Because I read an article that says the Indians are very superstitious. And so much so that the last time they played in that city in India, it was a World Cup final against Australia, and they stayed in the same hotel and they lost. So when they went back to that for another final, they stayed in another hotel, a different hotel, because of that superstition. And not only that, I saw a report saying that of the last 7 times India were in the World Cup, they won it 4 times. They lost it 3 times, and the 3 times they lost it, the matches were on Sundays. So there was that bit of superstition again, and about them and whether they're going to lose. But India, they were the favorites, and they won on a Sunday. So I guess they got the monkey off the back. I don't know if just for this time or it's something permanent. And the West Indies, they lost in the semi-finals. But, however, they were stuck in India because of this war with Iran and the airspace, and couldn't fly here and couldn't fly there. So they were to leave yesterday with a direct flight, and we have a caller online. Good morning, caller. Welcome to Voices. You're live.
Yes, Megan. Just wanted to take issue with something you just said.
Of course.
Yeah. I know it's often said that simply because you're opposition, you don't have to oppose everything. And of course that makes sense. Obviously, I mean, after all, if you're a government in power, there must be something that is good for the country that the opposition can support. But in our system, yeah, I'm not saying that it can't be changed, but the current system that we have, the opposition is supposed to provide an alternative, and it is supposed to hold the government accountable, right? And I mean, if you take some concrete examples, take for instance, the hospital, the new hospital that is being built, and the school for that matter. There hasn't been much pushback, well, if any at all. The pushback has been on the fact that they have not been forthcoming yet. But the whole idea of whether or not a smart hospital was necessary at this point, or whether or not a state-of-the-art Bastia High School was necessary at this point. You see, because if there is no opposition questioning these things, questioning the wisdom of doing these projects, especially at a time when we're running deficits, maybe an opposition, if they were functioning properly, would be saying something like where they need to be postponed because there are other priorities. Okay? You know, as it is currently, you'll never get something like that from Premier Brantley, because, as the caller said previously, he's holding fire in one hand and water in next. He has to be supportive of the government. He has the title of leader of the opposition. In other words, he's operating at cross purposes. Okay? So all I'm saying is, with the current system that we have that allows for this to happen, Premier being leader of the opposition, I think the electorate is not well served by the arrangement. I'm not saying that it's illegal, right? All I'm saying, it is not the ideal situation to be in, as things like what happened at the recent heads of government meeting showed, right? It's best if we didn't have those kinds of distractions to deal with, okay? So I'm saying that we should not use the excuse that, well, the opposition is supposed to be supportive of the government. I agree in certain instances, but in order to provide an alternative, in order to have good, robust debate, in order to keep the government accountable, you can't have the opposition colluding with the government. In our system, that's not how it works. It can't go like that.
But I did say, caller, if, well, let us use the smart hospital as you referenced that. If it is, and I understand what you're saying, now is not perhaps not the appropriate time, but let us, apart from that, let us say it's a good idea and it is timely and it is needed. I did say if the government says it's going to cost, as an example, I don't know, 50 million, as an example, the opposition, I expect them to support and say, yes, it's a good idea. However, we don't believe it should be that expensive. We believe it should be 40 million. Or, I use the other example as well, you said you're going to take 3 years to build it. We think that is too long. We think it should be 2.5 years or 2 years, as the case may be. So it is not necessary, though you're supporting, you're providing that alternative. But I understand clearly what you're saying, and I agree with you. But I had mentioned those.
It goes beyond what I'm saying. It goes beyond that, though, in terms of ideas to make, it's easier, it's more cost effective to refit, upgrade the current hospital. To do that, it can be done, right? As opposed to, because even if you get a brand new state-of-the-art hospital, you know what brand new state-of-the-art smart hospital means? You know what it means for things like staffing and maintenance and those kinds of things, delivery of services and those kinds of things, right? And maybe you might say, well, get the building for us and then we deal with those things after. But again, it goes back to priorities, right? And I know it's not fashionable to think, because all of us, I guess, are sold on the idea that, well, we're going to have a smart hospital, we need a climate smart hospital, etc., right? And I'm saying that an opposition, if it was thinking, if it was doing its job, questions a long time ago, rather than we reach the point where we're now going to spend money on to build a multi-million-dollar facility, and the economy may not be able to sustain it. Okay, that's what I'm saying. I don't think the opposition as it stands now are really looking into to those kinds of things, right? When in fact they should, if they were, as they put it, or they call it, His Majesty's loyal opposition, right? You know, they tell you the duty of the opposition is to oppose. Yes, I know that that's putting it kind of blunt, and it doesn't take into account the fact that we need to be more unified and galvanized around a good plan and so on. But, you know, sometimes you need somebody to be thinking outside the box, somebody to say, hey, hang on, wait a minute here. As you pointed out, we don't have to spend this amount of money. Those kinds of things are also important in governance. Yeah.
All right, caller, thanks a lot for sharing your view of that. An ardent listener to Voices, and he's not at all afraid to express his view. And we thank you for that, caller. And we are headed up the back stretch. We have like 18 minutes, 17 minutes to go. We're still taking your calls. We still have time to discuss a few topics. And while you're thinking, there's an article by German Abel captioned, SKN highlights challenges associated with rare disease in the region. And Washington, D.C., St. Kitts and Nevis has called for strengthened surveillance to better detect and reduce the impact of rare disease in the Federation and the wider Caribbean. Speaking on behalf of St. Kitts and Nevis and CARICOM states, the country's ambassador to the Organization of American States, the OAS, Excellency Jacinth Henry Martin, reaffirmed the region's commitment to strengthening health and social systems to better support individuals living with rare diseases. Addressing the OAS Permanent Council during the observance of Rare Disease Day, Ambassador Henry Martin noted that while rare diseases may affect relatively small numbers of people individually, They present significant challenges for patients, families, healthcare, and healthcare systems, particularly in small island developing states. I break and I go to the line to welcome this caller. Good day, caller. You're live on WinFM Voices.
Yes, it's me again.
Yes, sir.
Yes. Probably, be it African, European, Canadian, whatever. Not only that, I mentioned this before and I'm going to mention it again. The disease thing that you mentioned, you see, what a lot of us fail to realize is that, well, yes, a lot of disease are caused by physical issues like genetics, germs, viruses, heredity, you name it. A lot of diseases are because of those things. But also, the Bible let you know, a lot of diseases, illnesses, and sicknesses, and death as well, is because a lot of us are living sinful lives, including a lot of people, they go, the Bible is very clear about this, they take the Lord's Supper inappropriately, not discerning the Lord's body. And the Bible says that's one of the reasons why people are sick and ill and end up dying, because of the inappropriate or improper taking of the Lord's Supper. Not only that, a lot of people, they make all kind of oaths. For example, marital oaths, oaths in the court to tell the truth, and so on. And they end up doing the very opposite of what they say, what they took the vow and oaths to do. You see, and also disobeying the word of God in other areas as well. And no amount of doctors, no amount of medicines and that sort of stuff can heal these sicknesses that are caused by these spiritual matters. And this is a very serious problem that a lot of people don't know. That's why James tell you, if anybody is sick, let him call the elders and they would anoint him, confess your sin and that sort of stuff, and you shall be healed. But these spiritual matters, because they are neglected, is one of the big reasons why.
Your view. And if I continue, we have like 12 minutes to go. And I'm hoping that somebody may call in. Well, Greg touched it from a biblical point of view. For St. Kitts and Nevis, situation presents both constraints and opportunities, quote unquote. She said, I quote, our populations are small and the number of documented rare disease cases remains people living with rare conditions. In St. Kitts and Nevis, efforts to strengthen primary health care and chronic disease management have been guided by national policies aimed at tackling non-communicable diseases. NCD country itself will also wither away. And there's the view that men are not, how should I put this? Men don't eagerly go to the doctor. Women, they have issues, they'll quicker run to it, and men, you have to coax and coax and coax, and especially when doing the prostate test. And I'm talking using the index. Some men will say, hey, I prefer to die rather than allow that happen. And I could understand that because first time I went for a complete checkup was back in 1995. And it took me 24 years to go back, because I knew what would have happened, and I knew the physical check that is the most accurate. But we have to really check it. And what I find interesting, we have a lot of bush around, and we never seem to have. Yes, some persons would have been using the bush tea, but I'm now hearing the mango bush and the guava bush and soursop bush, apart from the moringa and the neem. They are good for various ailments. And that is something that there's French sticky time as well. That is something that I'm here. We don't know. But what's important is our health. And when we see things about us, we need to go to the doctor and check it out. Because we may not know what it is. Sometimes when people go to the doctors, it's actually whether it's cancer of whatever form, male or female. And sometimes there may have been the signs earlier clock. But going back to the article by Her Excellency Jacinth Henry Martin, rare diseases. There was a lady in Sandy Point, a young lady, beautiful dancer, ballroom dancer, very quiet. And maybe about 30-something years ago, she contracted the disease and she eventually died from it within a shortish period. And from what I understood, it was a rare disease. 1 in a million people get it, or 1 in a few million people get it. And it so happened that she was the one person. These things have been happening because we hear about it with other people. And 1 in a million or 1 in a few million, that is really a rare disease. But hey, that's the reality. It happens and it's there. And we need to look at it. Amputations. Are we having too many amputations here in St. Kitts and Nevis? I remember as a small boy growing up, when you hear about amputations for diabetes, it was basically the older people, 70s and 80s and that sort of thing. But now, is that the case? And maybe not, it may not be commonplace, but it happens. There's a young lady from Sandy Point. She has lost both legs, and she is like, what, 30-something, maybe early 40s? And we don't know when these situations will come. And I think it goes down to education of young people in the primary school. We have to encourage them to be very cognizant, very much aware. Teachers as well as parents about these health systems. And anything wrong with you, tell mommy, tell daddy. Because this early detection could go a long way. You're listening to Voices here on winnfm 98.9. We have just 5 minutes or thereabout. We can take a call or two and hear your voice, your view on what is happening. And we have the Honorable Congress Maynard Geothermal in Nevis and the solar in St. Kitts, key to energy transition. We've been hearing about that for some time. Geothermal, it looks like something is happening eventually in Nevis. And are the civil servants maximizing the benefits of their plans? Are they overusing it? These are questions we'll have to ask ourselves. Is enough education being done? Is it being timely? So these are questions. And again, it's all about health. We have a caller. Good morning, caller. Welcome to Voices.
Yeah, Biff, I'll be quick with this one as well. You see, the reason, another reason, right, why a lot of disease is, a lot of people suffering from disease as well. Another reason is because a lot of people, because life is so rough and tough with them, be it of their own making or not, a lot of people don't go to the doctors, the dentists, and so as they should, as we should. And because of that, also as well, a lot of us suffer from diseases, and whereas if we had catch them early, we might have been not going through that amount of suffering. And like I say, and the reason why life is so hard is because ultimately we are doing things contrary to the Bible, including the government. We are doing things contrary to the Bible. We have government running contrary to the Bible, and that, among other things, but that is a very, very big cause as to why prices and the cost of living is so high, and the reason why people are putting off going to doctors and dentists and that sort of stuff, and giving diseases and opportunities to devastate us a whole lot. So everything, Biff, boils back right down.
We have to leave with your caller. We have to slip in some ads. I thank you for calling.
Yes, take care.
And have a good day.
Let's obey the Bible always.
Yes, sir. And we are wrapping up now. We thank you for listening to Voices. We thank you for calling in. And, of course, we appreciate your feedback. You could always send feedback to me, Troy Biffmill, 765-1100, and we'll be glad to hear it. Now we are going to have to get to some ads and then get ready for the midday news. So we ask you to stick and stay. Don't go away. The midday news is up next after we actually take a few ads.
Flow customers, unlock big prepaid rewards every time you activate a prepaid plan. Activate a 7-day plan or higher and earn points towards your rewards. Activate again, earn even more points. Activate next week, well, you get the picture. The more you activate, the more extra data and prizes you earn. Get in on the big prepaid rewards. Dial *129 or visit topupflow.com to activate a prepaid plan today.
Tea time, calling night, noon and morning. Tasty biscuit, just can't resist it. Tea time, calling night, noon and morning. Tasty biscuit, just can't resist it.
You can dunk it, you lick it, you taste it, you spin it, you twist it, you can mix them all together. You don't